Hey boo, hey, happy whatever day you're listening to this on. So I want to talk about why you might feel like you can't step away from your business without everything slowing down. This is a question that I get so often, whether moms were wanting to take a maternity leave, whether you are just wanting to take a sabbatical or take a vacation, but like an extended amount of time. Here's why you might feel like or have some hesitation around taking a step away and thinking that everything is going to slow down because you do that. So first, I want to say that I recognize how it feels to have a business or be in your business and be like, you know what? I don't think I can actually take any time off. I'm actually really nervous about taking this time off. This has happened to me twice. Once where I was going on maternity leave with my youngest. I had a team, a relatively like small team. And so at the time I was just like, I'm really nervous about taking time off. And so I was taking 2.5-ish months off of my business. And I was like, I don't know if the girl is going to be okay while I'm gone. At the time I had brought back like my social media agency. So I was doing like a lot of different things. So there was multiple moving parts to my business, and that's problem number one. But I had a lot of moving parts to my business, and so I was actually very nervous about taking time off. And the other time that this happened to me, I was trying to take a sabbatical. I wanted to take 6 weeks off. And in that time period, I was just like, my offers require a lot of me. I have to show up. My clients are going to be expecting this. And so I just had the feeling of, I don't think I can actually take time off with my business and not lose revenue. I won't make any sales. I was just very nervous about logistics of my business. And I recognize that there are times that like you might think taking a vacation could mean my revenue is going to dip. And I want to be clear and say, it's not that our revenue doesn't dip during vacations or sabbaticals. My sabbatical months are usually like my lowest revenue months, but it's because like usually I don't actually prep anything super dramatic during those times. I'll send out some emails, but usually like my podcast takes a break. There's just a lot of things that take a break. So yes, things will slow down, but you should still feel that you can take a break or a vacation like 2 weeks if you have a team, right? You should be able to take a maternity leave if you have a team. Even if you don't have a team, you should still know that you can take a break and rest from your business, and your business won't completely fall apart. You won't just be coming back to a dumpster fire of a business, or you won't come back to $0 in revenue. That shouldn't be like a thought for you. Also, it shouldn't be a thought that like you can't get sick or your kids can't get sick without your business like turning to chaos. And we live in a time now where you can be sick for months on end, right? I experienced last year where pretty much the whole year I spent sick. Like in some capacity, I was sick. I kept getting sinus infections back to back. I just would not stop getting a sinus infection. Then I got a really bad cold. I got pneumonia. I just kept getting sick all last year. It was just a hot mess express, and it was very frustrating. But one thing that I didn't experience or feel is that I didn't feel like, oh, my business is going to fall apart because I'm not showing up or because I'm not doing what I normally do. I'm not being the active person. It was going to fall apart. I didn't feel like I was going to lose revenue because of that. And that is what I really want to speak to, because I find that a lot of people and a lot of my moms, like you feel like, okay, I don't want us to get too sick too many times, or I don't want to take too many vacations or whatever, because my business, like my sales will fall off. And I just want you to understand, like, yes, that does happen. And it is common that this happens, but it doesn't have to happen to you. Okay? It doesn't have to happen to you. And it doesn't mean that you've built anything wrong or you've built your business the wrong way if it does happen to you. Again, I shared 2 times that it's happened to me, but it's happened to me countless times where I have experienced like, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to take a break. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do this. Actually, last year, right before my sabbatical, I had that thought. I literally had the thought of maybe I'm not going to go on sabbatical this time because I don't think that my business can withstand me taking a break. And I'm so glad I didn't listen to that, because that was just me being a negative Nancy. I took the sabbatical and it was fine. But I think that a lot of us do have that feeling of, I can't take too much time off, or I can't take too much of a break. I can't take a long maternity leave or whatever, because the business might lose money, or I might lose money, or I might come back to just like a dumpster fire of a business. And so this is normal. It is a normal feeling, but I want you to know that what this is actually saying is that your business is growing around you and not beyond you. And this is a lesson that I had to learn the hard way. And it's something that I work through with my clients of what we need to do is we need to create businesses that don't work around us. It doesn't work around your capacity or your ability to show up or you actually working. Not that you're not going to work, right? You are going to work, but we don't want to build your business around you as the founder having to do and be in everything. We want your business to grow beyond you. I've lately been saying to my clients, I want us to build companies that someone else could come into our role and do what we're doing, and we could just be gone. You could be gone. Like, you can go and you can sell the company to someone. Like, anybody could just be what you are to the company. Now, this doesn't mean that you're not bringing your unique skill or your unique talent. Like, hello, I don't know too many people that could be actually me. I haven't met anybody yet that could be me for real. But your business should be set up in such a way that it's not growing around you and your moods and your feelings and whatever's happening in your personal life. It should not grow around that. And that's what we want to do. We want to build a business that can grow beyond you, and a business that we can bring other people in, especially in seasons where we need a little bit more support or we just want to take a break, right? When I take my sabbaticals, I don't think about my business. I really don't. I think about it in a sense of, oh, I have all these cool ideas that I want to bring back, but I'm not thinking about like, my business is going to fall apart. I probably don't have any clients when I get back. Or I'm not thinking to myself like, oh, I probably don't have any sales. I'm not thinking that at all. And even in this last sabbatical where I was questioning whether or not I should take the sabbatical, when I actually got on sabbatical, I never had the thought of, this was a bad idea. I should not have done this. Or I wasn't thinking, man, my business, like my clients are probably revolting right now. No, because we plan for these things. We plan for my 6-week sabbatical. We plan for just all the moving parts of the company, and things that we don't plan for, we don't worry about. So I want to just like normalize, this is a common thought and a feeling that we can change, that we can do something about, so that you don't have to continue to have this feeling. But then if you do, it's going to be fleeting, because once you take the break or take the vacation or whatever, you're going to be like, oh yeah, this is fine. I'm fine. We're cool. I want to dive a little bit deeper into building the business around you. One thing that I find is like the real issue here is that a lot of times we're building businesses around us being like the person that holds all the knowledge. We hold all the decisions. All the momentum lives in our head. All the ideas, all the strategy, the concepts, everything just lives within us. And there is a time for that, right? When you're building the business, that's the time where we're building out the concepts. We're building out our philosophies. We're building out the decisions and the frameworks and the methodologies, and we're just building out all these things. And that makes sense. But it shouldn't just live in our head, and it shouldn't just live in your head as the founder. Also, a lot of times what happens is that the business doesn't know how to move without you. This happened to me plenty of times inside my agency. It took me a while to get to a point where I was able to create a business, like create an agency model where my team could work without me. Like they knew how to work, they knew how to make decisions, they knew how to do things without me having to put it on their calendar and micromanage all their tasks. They didn't need me for that. And for a while, I was required for everything. I was on client calls. I had to do content approvals. I had to create content sometimes. There was just so many pieces of it that I was like, I don't want an agency anymore, which in the end, I ended up closing the agency. But luckily it wasn't because of these reasons, but I ended up closing the agency. And so it's just like a lot of times we're building a business, again, that revolves around us. And so the business and people in the business and the systems in the business, it doesn't know how to move without us. A great example of this actually is like, I used to have workflows set up in my photography business, and these workflows used to require me to have to give approval for the next step. Now, what's the point? And let me say this. For the next step, it was like sign the contract. What's the point of me having a workflow if I have to still manually press the button for them to sign the contract? That's crazy, right? So yeah, it might have been automated that they got a contract. I still had to go in and do something when literally the system can just do it on its own. So this is where it's like your business doesn't know how to move without you constantly doing something in it. Also, like another thing that happens is that like your momentum gets tied to your presence. So in order for the business to grow, in order for it to scale, in order for it to do anything, you're required, like your presence is required. And this happens a lot for those of us who have like founder-led brands, right? So our brand, we are the face of the brand. And so this is not a bad thing, but what I will say is that it's important that you create channels and avenues for momentum to still build and compound without your presence, without you being front facing, or without you having to lead the team on some kind of idea or strategy. But like you should have parts of your business that like momentum and things continue to grow and progress without your direct presence. The last thing that I would say is a big issue around like you feel like you can't step away, or why it's so problematic really for us to create us-centered or like founder-centered business models, is that execution requires access to you. So a great example of this is, again, when I had to go in and manually press the button to send the contracts. It's like execution should not require access to me. Execution on certain things, on a lot of things in our businesses, should be either automated or something that somebody else can do, right? It could be someone else's job. And the reason why we want to do this is because as the founder, a lot of times we end up being the bottleneck because we're trying to be part of every part of the process. A great example of execution needing our access is as a social media manager, when I had my agency, I used to do client approvals, like content approvals. That meant that people's content wouldn't go up. That meant that content was backlogged because my team would have to wait on me to approve when something was actually finished. They had to wait on those approvals. And that was just creating a bottleneck because execution required access to me. And if I wasn't available to approve, if I wasn't available to do whatever needed to be done, things didn't get done. And that's a problem. That's a problem in our businesses. So one thing that I see a lot of people try to do in their businesses when they're trying to fix this idea of, oh, I'm trying to fix like why my business is slowing down or why sales is slowing down, why are different things slowing down my business? We often try to fix it with, oh, I'm just going to work more, right? If I work more, then things will work, right? So for me, with my agency, my thought was like, okay, if I help create content, if I do approvals every single day, right? If I just do more, then everything will fix itself. Or maybe we like try to create more content. Okay, if I create more content, then we can get more sales, we can get more leads, more sales, whatever. Okay, like in theory that works, but in practice, when we're actually doing it, it actually creates a situation where the business continues to be dependent on you pushing harder, right? Like you as the founder, you're just doing more and more and more and more. The last one that I'll say, and this one's a sneaky one, but a lot of times people will try to delegate, right? You'll try to hire someone, you'll try to delegate, but you'll micromanage. So it's like it didn't work. Or, oh, this is one that I was like so bad at, but like I would hire somebody to do something for me and then I would basically redo what they did. So I remember there was this one time that I hired a copywriter and like she would write the copy and then I would just go back in and redo all of it. And so it's like, what was the point of that? What was the point of that? So now I'm significantly cutting my profit margin because I hired somebody, but then I'm still going back and doing the work. So it's taking double the amount of time. And it's honestly a waste of that person's time too, because if I'm just going to change it, what's the point in them trying? And so saying all this to say, a lot of times when we are thinking, okay, I want to take a step away from my business, I want to take a break, I want to take a vacation, the reason why you feel like you can't do it is because you are in the way. You are slowing everything down. And so the real issue is that everything is living within you. Everything requires access to you. And you doing more, you pushing harder, you hiring and not really giving up control of the role, that is what's keeping you in a position where even if you could take a break, you're still in the back of your mind thinking, I don't know if this is a good idea. And we want to pull ourselves out of that. So here's just one thing that you can implement and take home and see if we can get around or at least start making progress towards creating a business that doesn't require you as the founder to be in the mix and you're not going to be the bottleneck. Okay. I want you to separate the doing from the deciding. So as the founder right now, you are probably doing both. You're probably doing, like you're doing the task and things in the business and you're deciding what needs to be done. That's why everything is bottlenecking at you, because everything points to you, right? Every decision has to be made through you. Every action has to be like at some point, every action or every part of the execution has to go through you. And so you're becoming the bottleneck. So what I want you to do is I want you to separate the doing from the deciding. Your role, your job needs to be in the deciding. Like if you have to choose any of them, I would choose for you to be in the deciding role. Now there are some roles that you are going to be in the doing role, right? For me, I'm in the doing role when it comes to being an advisor because that's my thing. Like I advise. So I am in the doing role of that. That makes sense. But I also am considering, and in the past I have hired co-coaches and stuff to come in and help me with the doing piece so that I'm not doing all of it, right? And now we're increasing my capacity. We're increasing my bandwidth. We're giving me more space. So I want you to separate the doing from the deciding, okay? Because right now everything is bottlenecking to you because you're focused on both of them. Now I want you to make the business executable. So I want you to be able to execute in the business without constant access to you. Okay, so we're going back through some things I said to you earlier, right? I don't want you to worry about creating like scalable systems or anything. I want you to have clear execution. Okay, I want you to have a process for how things get done that don't require constant access to you. This is especially true for my service providers, but if you're a coach, there are certain parts of your business, of your offer, of your system that should not require access to you. It just doesn't. In some offers, one thing I was telling one of my clients, I used to say that your offer, sometimes it doesn't require calls. So often we like, oh yeah, you can have calls. And it's just like, girl, your offer actually does not need calls. Like your offer is fine without you doing calls. And if you do calls, let somebody else do them. Let somebody else run the call. People will be like, your clients will be okay because at the end of the day, they got their problem solved. So what we need to focus on is going back to the business model. What's the problem you're solving? How are you solving it? Okay. Do you have a process for that? And then how can you pull yourself out of the process? Okay. So make your business something that can be executed on. Your offers can be executed on. Things in your business can be executed on without your constant access or constant input from you. And then lastly, this is one that I'm not going to get into the nuance of this right now, but we're going to come back to this one. Okay. But it is having a capacity plan so that your business can run when you are not available. Okay. So this is like the whole point of what we're talking about is you being able to take time off, but we want you to have a capacity plan for some of those things that kind of pop up when you're least expecting it, right? Maybe somebody gets sick, right? Maybe you want to go visit your mom, right? Like I like to visit my mom just like randomly. Like, I'll wake up and be like, I'm gonna go see my mom. But my mom lives like 7 hours away driving. So of course I have to fly because who's driving all that. But so in order to do that, like I have a capacity plan in place in my business so that if I do decide to do something random or something random pops up, the business doesn't fall apart, or it does, like, things don't stop happening just because Kay decided to go do something, right? It just keeps going. So this gives you that freedom to disappear, right? It gives you freedom to step away. It gives you freedom to take a break, and it allows you and it allows the business to not panic when you're unavailable, okay? Because that's what's happening, right? The underlying thing that's happening in this entire conversation is that a lot of people, a lot of moms panic when you take a break in your business, or you panic at the idea of being able to take a break in your business. And if you do take the break, you just spend the whole break thinking about your business, which causes you to panic even more. So it's like this constant spiral of, man, I didn't actually enjoy this break. And this is one of the reasons why I've had this happen several times, where a client will say to me, the break wasn't really restful. The break was actually very exhausting. I still thought about the business. I still thought about these things. I still worked on this. You're bringing your laptop on vacation. Girl, when I tell you I don't bring my I don't even know where my laptop is on my sabbatical. I like to watch TV on my laptop, but when I'm on sabbatical, I watch TV on television, because I'm just like, I don't want to know where this thing is at all. I don't want to be tied or connected to work in any capacity. And this last sabbatical, I was on my computer, but I was on it for personal reasons, not because I was doing any work. And I didn't think about work, and it was great. All the tabs were closed. It was beautiful. It was a wonderful moment, right? And so that's what we want to do. When your business can move without you, it doesn't mean that you're unnecessary. And I really want to be clear about that, because I think that a lot of people get a little shy and nervous about this whole idea of what I've been talking about, capacity, or having your business grow beyond you or grow without you. It doesn't mean that you're not necessary. It does mean that you've built leadership and systems and sustainability into the structure, so that it's optional as to whether or not you are in the business. And the parts of the business that you're in are the parts that you need to be in. Okay, that's the key. I want you to only be part of the parts of your business that you absolutely have to be a part of. All the other parts, you should have the freedom to be able to step aside and do something else. You should feel like, I can take a break, I can take a vacation, I can take a 6-week sabbatical, and the business doesn't fall apart. I still make money, right? The business still makes revenue. My clients don't leave because I'm taking a break, right? That doesn't have to happen. This is something that I thought through a lot inside of my advisory partnership. Inside partnership, we really talk a lot about how to position your business in such a way, and how to set your business up so that you can take time off, take a break, step out of the business, all the things. So if that's something that you've thought about or been interested in, feel free to just DM me or ask me about that, and I will give you more details on that. But besides that, I would really love, if you haven't done so yet, I keep talking about this report because the State of Moms in Business report took me about 25 hours just in the setting up of it, in getting the data, reading the data, like understanding what was going on, having conversations. And then it took me another, I think 8 hours to actually write the report. So this thing is a labor of love. And I want as many moms to read this as possible, because I promise you, it's going to give you just so many aha moments. It's going to just make you feel so much better about the business that you're building, and also to understand and see that other moms have experienced exactly what you're experiencing in your business. And I talked through some things and concepts inside that report that are just really helpful, not only for you to feel like, okay, I'm not crazy for how I feel about my business, but it's also going to help you know how to relate to your clients and how to speak to potential buyers and things like that. So I really encourage you to go read that. I'm going to leave it in the show notes like I leave everything else. And that's it for this one. Thanks so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed this little series that I'm doing. I didn't name this series anything formal, but I did have the idea of putting certain episodes together, because I know I talk about different concepts, but I don't think I've actually had a chance to deep dive into why I'm talking about things I'm talking about now. And so I really just wanted to put us all on the same page and just have us in a position where it's okay. We're building different types of businesses in 2026. And as moms, we have to build our business different. And I truly believe that building a bare minimum business, building a capacity first business, building a business that, really centers the business and not the business's access to us, is so crucial to actually building something that we actually enjoy, that is sustainable, that we can love, and that just allows us to actually build the life that we want to have and want to live. So I hope you enjoyed this, and until next time, I will talk to you later, darling. Okay, that was much better.